This is brutally honest advice for burnt out people. For years, I did everything I was supposed to do to fix the stress in my life. I worked out, I ate clean, I drank green smoothies, I tried meditating, I took supplements, I read self help books, and yet I was still freaking exhausted. Still snapping at people I loved, still waking up tired no matter how much I slept, still feeling like I was running on fumes, waiting for that next crash. I thought that I had some sort of like just in general problem, burnout problem, but I was wrong. I had a me problem, and no amount of fixing things on the surface was going to actually solve what was going on underneath. So, I want to talk about the real truths about burnout. Burnout isn't just about working too much, it's about spending your energies in ways that don't give you any back. It's about carrying responsibilities that don't belong to you. It's about constantly chasing some version of a success or perfectionism that never actually will be enough. And the worst part about all of it is that burnout doesn't come from doing too much. It comes from doing the wrong things while ignoring what you actually need. Now, it wasn't until I hit a breaking point after years of grinding, stressing, and doing all the things that I finally stopped for the first time in my life. I chose to actually rest, not pretend to rest, not watch Netflix and veg out and feel guilty about doing it, but real rest, like resetting the nervous system type of rest. And when I finally started doing that, I stopped running. I faced hard truths. It wasn't about my schedule that was burning me out. It was my unmet emotional needs, my traumas, my distractions, my inability to slow down without feeling unworthy. So that's why I'm making this video. This is the advice that I wish that somebody would have given me when I was at this place of feeling burnt out. I would first stop trying to fix burnout with doing more. I am the person who was like really always kind of running on chaos. At the time that I had a 1-year-old at home, pregnant with my next baby, and working a full-time job, I started feeling burnt out. And interesting enough, you would think what I would have done is like take a vacation. But no, I started doing more. I put more pressure on myself to work out and train. And then I actually took on another part-time job outside of working my full-time job as a personal trainer and a functional nutrition coach. Ended up starting my studies for that course. Ended up starting a YouTube channel all at the same time while feeling burnt out. This was literally the opposite of what I needed to do at the time. I didn't know how to find the slow down. So if you're like me, or you're a high achieving person who is struggling with this because we have been wired to push through and put in more effort, I'm here to tell you that it doesn't work when you're already running on empty. Imagine trying to drive a car with no gas. And you think that by slamming harder on the go pedal, it's going to get you to where you want to go. It's not going to work. That's why it's so important to actually take the time to take stuff off your schedule when you're feeling this way. The second one is your body is screaming at you. So it's time for you to listen. I'm going to tell you the story of another extreme burnout. I just had a baby. My work told me that they don't give any paid time off for work. I didn't know that. And I wasn't in a financial spot to just kind of take unpaid leave. So I took one day off and then returned to work the next day. At the same time, I'm the person who took my one day off now while watching my kids at home and also doing work on the side in between nap hours. I also brought in the neighbor kids. So this story is incredibly crazy and real, but I was literally postpartum, 4 weeks. I'm sick because I had back-to-back things. I didn't give my body any time to rest. I went right back into work. Now I have 6 neighbor kids along with my 2 children at my house, helping entertain them, thinking by having the kids over, then they're going to be able to help watch my children. But in reality, I just had more responsibility on my plate. And I started dinner put the quinoa, broccoli, and salmon on the grill. Now at this time, I've got this newborn baby on me. All the kids are at my house and the grill starts smoking. My deck, my brand new house, starts on fire. Literally, my brand new house started on fire. I hadn't been living in that house for longer than 2 months. Now, not only am I struggling with postpartum healing, I had like crazy sicknesses. I was losing my voice. I was having digestive distress, and I was so worn out. But now I burned my house down. My body was like begging me to slow down, to relax. So when your body talks to you, or these crazy things happen outside in your world, like you start a fire on your brand new house, it's time for you to slow down and listen. Now, at the end of this, I actually had some really wonderful neighbors that came and helped me put out the fire. I got the kids out of the house and everything was okay. We just had to replace all the deck and we had to replace all the siding and all these things. But at that moment, if I knew what I knew now, this should have been my clear wake-up call. Like, slow down, listen. Your body is trying to tell you something. The universe is trying to tell you something. And I just needed to listen, which at that time I wasn't ready to do. And I didn't learn or know how. I see this often with other high-achieving women. We treat exhaustion like it is an inconvenience instead of a warning sign. We throw caffeine at it. We push through your workouts. We ignore the deeper issues. But the reality is that your body is going to shut down if you don't learn how to slow down. And the sooner that you stop ignoring these signals, the sooner you can actually start to heal. Okay, so the third point is real rest feels uncomfortable at first. I had every euphoric moment kind of like burst open after I had a baby. So after my third child, I was like, I'm gonna do it. I did this free birth. It was beautiful. And I was going like pretty much all into the old practices of birthing and mother resting. And I really wasn't used to resting. Never in my life did I feel worthy as just being a human. I felt like doing was part of, earning my worth here on this planet. And so I took the time 6 weeks after to just be in a room with my baby and just to enjoy it, just to allow the space. And the first couple of days were really incredibly uncomfortable for me. So much so that I felt like I was crawling out of my skin. It reminded me of the first time I was like meditating. And I was like, you want me to sit still for 5 minutes? I'm like, I have so much stuff to do. I have this, and this. I'm doing nothing. And so it really is a foreign, uncomfortable feeling. If you are this high achiever who's always on the go, who's trying to, accomplish the world, this feeling can feel foreign. But if you give it a shot, get used to feeling this uncomfortable feeling, allow yourself to feel all the emotions that come with it, and give yourself the permission to step into this place of peace, you can break past the old patterns of just going and running on empty. And you're going to start to see how good it feels to go and run on full. All right, the fourth one and the last one is to fix the root and not just the symptoms. So oftentimes we're looking at a headache, let's use that for example, and we think, oh my gosh, I have a headache. I'm going to take some Advil, Tylenol, whatever you use as your pain relief, instead of actually realizing that, like, what is my body actually telling me? Burnout isn't solved with medication, with a vacation. It's actually solved by changing the way that you live. Your habits, your boundaries, the way you handle stress, the way you actually take care of yourself. Not just physically, but emotionally and mentally as well. So, leaning into this practice of like not just looking at a symptom and throwing a solution at it, but actually learning to lean in and figure out where's the root of this. I had a client of mine who said to me, come to this event with me, come to this weekend retreat, I need to get away, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed. And there was a part of me that really resonated. I was like, getting kind of like, swayed by the flashy fixes of like, oh, if I go on this retreat, then I will X, Y, and Z be able to fix the chaos in my home. And I was like realizing that in going away and retreating away, I was actually creating more chaos in my life. Instead of staying in the points that were uncomfortable, getting caught up on the housework, not spending time driving, commuting, and being in this type of setting, I actually could just shift this in my mind. I could approach laundry, house care, dishes with a place of peace and meditative experience. I could put on music. I could bring myself into the moment and just address these things that were normally stressors to me with a different frame of mind. And actually changing how we think about things and how we address our stressors, we're actually rewiring that response to the thing. If I were to just go on a vacation and think I'm escaping it all, I'm getting away from it all, guess what? When I get back from that vacation, I'm going to return right back into that same pattern. So yes, it is a little bit more glammy and it might look good on Facebook and to take really cool pictures. It's not actually fixing the root cause. So allow yourself to actually go there, look and lean into what is the root cause and how do I actually change the way I think about the situation so I can handle stress differently. If any of this has resonated with you and you have felt like, oh my gosh, Carly, I totally feel this place of kind of restlessness and feeling like you have to always go, I'd love to hear more about you. What are you doing to unwind? What are you doing that's working for you? What have you tried that hasn't worked for you? And if you're looking to join a group of supportive women who are also on this phase, they're high achieving women, entrepreneurs, chasing multiple things and trying to do it all, holding all the hats. And you want to be a supportive woman moving through and reprogramming, rewiring, removing the toxic stuff from your life, I would love to see you in my community, deeplyrootedheadschool.com. There, I'll get to know you better. I'll be able to jump in on live Q&As and start to move the needle forward and changing your behaviors, changing the way you look at things. And if not, I appreciate you being here now. And please share this with somebody you know, maybe if it's not you, that is also struggling with this level of stress and burnout, because I think that they'll appreciate hearing that from you. Have a beautiful day.